Justice League Dark issue 9. James Tynion the fourth, writing with Alvaro Martinez and Miguel Medoncha on the art in this issue. So last issue ended with Chimp and Co. taking everyone into Mirror. To run.
Yeah.
And then the Lords of Order showed up, which is Fate and his cronies, who are explained a bit more in more detail in this issue, who they are.
Just real quick, we're getting somebody wearing that full suit, right?
Of all the pieces.
I really think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because obviously
Chekhov's gun.
You got Fate's helmet, but you've got like these gauntlets of this, and you've got the cape, cloak of that, and you've got the boots of this.
So that they're all a different person. Yeah. In the sense that the helmet is Naboo.
So we're getting Super Fate, right? We're getting Super Fate at the end of this.
Yeah, like Voltron.
Yeah.
5-1. So it's probably going to be one of the members of the Dark, right? Justice League Dark. So who would you think is going to be the one to wear the armor? Because I don't want to say Wonder Woman because that seems too obvious, right?
That's the thing. My gut instinct is Wonder Woman or Zatanna.
Yeah.
I mean, Jason Blood is not Etrigan anymore after this issue, so maybe he can wear it so he can get something to do.
There's not many times I'm reading a comic at work and I yell "Holy shit!" in which it draws the attention of other people. That was a moment.
Glad I don't pay attention to front covers too much before I read the comic because this says "Demon No More" on the front. And I didn't see that before I read it. And there was a few pages before it happened. I went, "Are they going to do this?" Because just there was something in the dialogue that I think he says, we've been bound by the most powerful magics on Earth," right. And I'm like, "Oh, they're so undoing it."
Yep. So
and that page where they literally rip him apart from Etrigan is probably the best page in the issue.
It's kind of fantastic.
I like that. I also like the beginning where we get Khalid's story. And just how disorientating the Tower of Fate is, and even with the panels, I
love the first page it uses the helmet as the background for the layouts.
Yeah. But there's that page. It's the double page that there's odd angles for all the panels.
Yeah, they're just
symmetrical. Yeah, it's real cool. I like all that. But yeah, and then we get these guys, I'm gonna call them the Fate Corps.
The Fate Corps. Yeah, because the opening stuff with Khalid is basically just he was starting to hear arguments between Kent Nelson and Naboo, and it kind of led to him getting put in the jar, which is what we've been dealing with, and Man Bat took him out.
Just casually put him in the jar.
Just casually put him in the jar.
So Connor, you're a go-to Fate guy, right?
Yeah.
Like you've read more than me or Pete. Naboo always a dick. Or is it something that Nelson always has to he has to counterbalance it and be like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, he's always a dick.
Okay.
Usually, because I think his thing is order, and usually that translates to being the righteous side of things, even though he's a dick about it.
Right. Well, you can be on the righteous side and still be on the bad side.
Right, right. Usually his order lines up with saving the world, right? Because that's usually a good thing.
Through any means necessary. I mean, that's lawful evil, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's probably what I'd call Naboo, lawful evil.
Yeah. Okay. So now there's 4 more of him, and I have to believe they're just equal amounts of dick. And
one of the hosts is Xanadu.
Yeah, which she kind of got the short end of it because she just got a cloak that she has to wear like a mask. Didn't get the cool breastplate or the gauntlets or the boots. Nope, she got the cloak of Syrah. Yeah. But it makes her look cool.
Yeah.
And Chimp not knowing what to do, and then Blue Devil showing him up. He's like, "No, you use the sword to recall everybody back." He's like, "I can do that? How'd you know?" Well, I read the instructions.
Yeah, they basically just regroup, and then it's like, okay, ready to prepare, but it's like, nah, shit. I mean, Mirror may already be lost because the Fate Corps, as Matt puts it, is laying waste to Mirror.
I love that Bobo's reaction to Etrigan and Blood being split is the exact same as everyone else. Just, oh shit.
Yeah. And then Etrigan taken off back to hell. You pansy. I think it's interesting. I
think it's interesting that Blood actually is upset about this. He's screaming for Etrigan as he's been taken away.
Yeah. Well, because I always got it that when it first happened, he was upset that he was bound by him, kind of like the Hulk. But then he ended up learning to like, hey, I
over
can do a lot of
1,000
good.
years, they kind of came to a bit of a agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the moment plays well though. I think the moment plays really smart in how it handles it, and how it portrays it, and like you say, Chimp's reaction and everything else. But I have to admit though, I didn't love this issue as much as you two did, and
that's because you're an awful person.
And like this book's really frustrating for me because when it veers more into horror, I tend to love those issues. Right? You go back to the first couple of issues, you go to that Tales from the Crypt style issue with Man-Bat. Love that issue. Right? Everything with Mirror, I've just been kind of like, it's okay.
So this is how I found out that Tynion's exploiting my sauce. I love relics, right? Like, I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan for this kind of things. So if you give me magic and you associate them with relics and, like, they take over somebody, I'm there.
Hey, Matt,
like,
Matt, I'm all for that as long as we don't actually see that much of the magic being used. I like it being something that's kind of spoken of that we never see.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't care.
You give me, Barbara and Minerva, right? You give me her hunting for one of these relics, but we never really see it get used beyond maybe a little bit at the end. I'll be into that story.
Well, again, this all makes sense again because I love Barbara and Minerva.
What Pete just described there was issue 8.
Yes, exactly. I don't know how much I love that issue. So, like, here, I wasn't expecting, like, to get full bore. Like, we saw them show up, but I didn't expect them to be people, like, we already knew. Because it seems like the ones that they've plucked, like, Xanadu is the only one I'm familiar with, but I'm sure if you pull up these names...
Yeah, I'm sure they are people, but Xanadu is the only one I knew at first glance.
Yeah. And so it seems like they'll stick around for a little bit throughout this arc, at least. And, like, just the fact that you gave us these boots and gauntlets and a cloak and a helmet, like, I'm sure someone's going to Voltron the shit out of this.
Yeah.
So, and then we also get Wonder Woman and Zatanna's mission, where they're still hunting down Mordew. Right? I always mix this up. Mordew.
They go to Cersei.
They go to Cersei. So seeing her again, like, and it's the version of her I really like, that from the Rucka run. And you know that she's playing her own game at all of this, because they even bring up, like, them defeating Hecate.
Yeah.
And how she set that in motion. So, and this all ends up with it looks like the Fate Corps have destroyed Mira.
Yeah, it's already happening.
Yeah, which I'm sure Blue Devil is going to be super upset with Pobo.
Yeah. Bobo has all the best lines in this issue.
Yeah.
When Khaled and Man-Bat show up at the end, and I was like, wasn't he trapped in a vase? Like, I got him out. And it's like, who let the crazy mad scientist learn magic? Haven't you got us into enough trouble as it is?
I also like when Khalid's talking to Man-Bat and he goes, "Don't you have another serum that, like, is more menacing? Like, you're not just running around."
And he's like,
with
it's in the cupboard.
Yeah,
like,
I like that too. Yeah,
I really like that Swamp Thing design on that double page spread before the end, with all the horns and the tusks.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's looking good.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Like, this issue is, like, again, Etrigan being pulled apart, which I'm only familiar with him from Demon Knights and onward. I have never been that into Etrigan, but I know enough about him that this is a huge moment, and he's running back to hell. So, maybe we'll see a new demon that Blood bonds with, and he can still be the demon.
Even if they come back, I'm like, it still had a huge moment in the issue because it was totally unexpected, and I can see him coming back and choosing to get rebound for the sake of the partnership, like, because they, like, over the 1,000 years they've come.
And if I remember Demon Knights right, Xanadu was their lover, and she was playing both of them.
Yeah.
So if they want to play into that, there's that now too.
It's a bit of a classic trope, but I'm always a sucker for something that was forced before, but then later on the characters get a choice and choose to re-engage in whatever it was, because it gives them their own sense of agency, where him making the choice to do this for the right reasons makes him more of a hero than he ever was before, because it's like it's agency.
I think I'd like to find out, Etrigan, it's not like he just runs off. It sounds like he's summoned to hell now that they're separate, and he doesn't really have a choice in it.
See, I don't know. It seems to me like he took off on his own. Like, he's like, "Oh, I'm finally free of this. I'm see you later,"
Okay.
Let me
Uh,
see.
uh,
Because he says Etrigan no, because he goes with Neron's call to Hellline Beckoned. I can't remain another second. And he takes
but
off.
no, when he's trying to grab him, it almost
Right.
looked like I can see Etrigan's hand reaching back out in the
Hmm.
swirl.
Maybe.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I know, but I'm here for it. Like, yeah. So Mark Berlin, who's one of them, has been around since 1959. He was in the House of Secrets book.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna pull up the other names. I'm just looking for him right
Mark
now.
Merlin was one of them.
Yeah, that's the one I pulled up. And then he's been around, the Prince of Ramon. And now we're gonna look up Ibis the Invincible, which I'm sure Pete's loving all of this.
Oh, that's
Ibis,
great.
that's Egyptian, right? Ibis.
Yeah.
I wonder any relation to any of the Black Adam stuff.
Also,
Plays
also known as Amenhotep. He's been around since the 40s. Published by Fawcett Comics. So that's interesting because of how.
So when I said Black Adam, there I may not have been a million miles away.
No, not at all. And then, oh yeah, he's been running around with Sargon and whatnot.
Okay, cool.
From back in the day. Yeah, his first comic was Wiz Comics #2 from 1940. So, and see, that's another thing. I'm a sucker for all these classic like characters coming back. Yeah, like, and then the last one is Gregorio.
Once known as Extrano. What a name.
Yeah. But so is it Gregorio de la Vega. Like,
yeah,
his
that's
person.
a good name.
Which Extraño.
You can tell me and Matt are way more into this book than Pete.
Yeah.
They're like, quick, give me every detail.
Yeah. He is.
What am I on this? Art's great throughout as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the stuff with Wonder Woman and Cersei is the different artist, right? That's the second one. But it looks different. But it gets away with it because it's literally in a different dimension, right? Yeah. The rest of it's all on mirror, and that stuff's over there.
Oh wow, Extraño is super weird because it involves the Guardians of the Universe. So he was a minor magician. His magical powers were heightened by the procedure because he was chosen by the Guardians of the Universe as part of their Millennium Project, which was to teach him the true nature of the cosmos. So he went from being a minor magician to Extraño.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's Peruvian. He has a crystal skull that he uses things out of. Yeah. So that's yeah. So I like the Tynion's doing his homework here and pulling these obscure characters out from like the history of DC. So it makes it seem that much big. Like, because if he is killing magic, it seems unlike other times that they've killed magic, you're pulling it out from the root to start it anew.
Yeah.
And I think that always helps because, like Pete likes to point out, magic's cool when you know the rules, and because then you can do proper story stuff instead of just having it like, oh, it's like this because magic. It's like why I enjoy Zatanna so much is she's so powerful, but she has to channel it through saying things backwards.
Yeah, there's a rule.
Yeah. So
it's not that great a rule. She can still do pretty much anything as long as she can say it backwards.
Yeah, but then you get fun words to say backwards.
Oh, I never even try and read them backwards. Sure that.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. I'm going to say something perhaps controversial. I think I'm dropping this book.
Oh no!
Look, I wanted to trim the fat a little bit between my pull, not just on DC. Like, I mean, I've dropped a few Marvel and other books as well. And I don't think there's anything bad about this book. I like this book. I think it's well written. I think it's perfect for people who care about this shit. I just don't. And well, I really like when it gets more horror focused. It's been like like maybe 25% of the issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not enough. It's not enough for me.
I'm loving it. I'm loving that this is a pulp book. It's hitting on all aspects.
I just love having a proper magic book again because we didn't have one through all of Rebirth up until this point.
That's great. You can enjoy it. I really don't care if there's one. So I'm
Poor
good.
Pete, at least coming into this, he also had Justice League Odyssey, which is gonna be the sci-fi book.
I know, I was looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah,
because
one of his favorite characters of all time.
I dropped that
You know?
due to quality. This one is
Yeah.
getting dropped because I just don't care about what it's doing. It's not that it's
But
bad.
it is objectively a better book.
It is a better book,
Yes.
but I think I'm done, and I think it's an easy one for me to cut and not feel bad about. And you two will talk about it anyway, so it's fine. There's
There's no way we're dropping this, is there?
you don't need me to. But hey, what are you rating them at, this issue? If we can finally
Yeah,
end
so
this.
I'm giving this I'm giving this an 8.5. Also, I want the full Voltroning. You better, when that happens, I'm gonna lose it.
I don't care if Pete's not reading it. When that happens, the episode title is The Full Voltron.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. What are you rating it, Connor?
8.5.
I will give it a 7.
Oof.
7's not enough.
No, that's a Pete 7, not a Matt 7.
Yeah, that's 7's fine.
True.
And it's kind of out of our objective. Yes, it's a solid book, but you know.